Artificial intelligence, AI, has become the defining technology of the 21st century, reshaping economies, transforming industries, and redefining global power dynamics. Among the leading forces in this technological revolution stand two giants, the United States and China. Both nations view AI not just as a tool for innovation, but as a strategic asset that influences national security, economic competitiveness, and global influence. While the United States dominates in cutting-edge research, innovation, and foundational AI models, China leverages its massive data scale, centralized planning, and rapid implementation to accelerate adoption across industries. Their approaches reflect two contrasting philosophies: America's market-driven, innovation-first model versus China's state-coordinated, scale-driven strategy. Understanding how these two powers compete and complement each other in the AI domain provides insight into the future trajectory of technology, geopolitics, and digital governance worldwide. A comparison between the United States, USA, and the People's Republic of China, China, in the domain of artificial intelligence, AI. All cover strengths, weaknesses, challenges, and key trends. United States strengths: the US leads in innovation, especially foundational models, large language models, LLMs, and breakthrough algorithms. For example, the US hosts most of the world's top AI institutions and produces the majority of leading-edge LLMs. Strong ecosystem for private investment, venture capital funding, and startups in AI. For instance, US AI private investment in 2024 was much larger than China's. Deep pool of global talent, researchers, engineers, and many of the world's top universities and AI research labs are in the US. Relatively mature infrastructure, hardware, compute, data centers, and established companies deploying AI in products and services globally. Weaknesses, challenges: high cost of compute and model training. Scaling up very large models is expensive. China is working on efficiency too. While the US leads in innovation, full implementation, enterprise-wide deployment of new AI in many organizations is slower compared to some other regions. For example, a survey found more Chinese firms experimenting with generative AI, though US firms led in full integration. Regulation and oversight. The US regulatory landscape is still evolving and somewhat fragmented, which may create uncertainty for companies and investments. Hardware, supply chain risk. Export controls, chip access, and dependence on certain suppliers might create bottlenecks in the future. Focus, strategic position: innovation-driven, pushing the frontier in models, algorithms, general intelligence, and global platforms. Commercial deployment. US companies integrate AI into products, services, consumer and enterprise markets. Global leadership. Building AI tools with global reach, and shaping AI safety, ethics standards internationally. China's strengths: huge scale of data, large population and market. China is able to deploy AI broadly, in many domains: manufacturing, smart cities, consumer internet, at a large scale. Strong state coordination and industrial strategy. The Chinese government ties AI development to national strategy, investments in infrastructure, and focusing on self-sufficiency. Research volume. China produces a large volume of AI-related research papers and patents. For example, China produces more AI research papers than the US in raw volume, though average citation quality may lag. Implementation in certain sectors. Because of the large domestic market and manufacturing base, China can adopt AI in industrial, manufacturing, and operational contexts at scale. Weaknesses, challenges: quality versus quantity. Though research output is large, the quality, e.g., citations, breakthrough innovation, still tends to lag the US. Foundational model leadership. China trails in developing the very largest models or global platforms, though catching up. Compute, hardware limitations. Because of export restrictions from other countries and less mature advanced chip manufacturing, China can face bottlenecks in high-end compute infrastructure. Some challenges in global reach. Many Chinese AI tools are for domestic market, and global adoption faces language, regulation, and geopolitical issues. Focus, strategic position, application and scale. China emphasizes deploying AI across sectors: manufacturing, logistics, smart cities, and leveraging scale to refine and iterate quickly. Catch up plus leapfrogging. While behind in some cutting-edge fronts, China uses its scale and state support to accelerate progress. Self-reliance. Significant efforts to build domestic tech stacks, models, chips, data infrastructure, so as to reduce dependence on foreign technology. Key comparison points when comparing the United States and China in the field of artificial intelligence. Several clear distinctions emerge across innovation, investment, research, and infrastructure. The United States continues to lead in foundational AI models, advanced algorithms, and globally recognized platforms like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google DeepMind. Its private sector ecosystem is highly dynamic, supported by strong venture capital networks, academic partnerships, and a culture of rapid innovation. In contrast, China's AI growth is more state-driven, with large-scale government investment and centralized strategies that aim to accelerate national AI self-sufficiency. In terms of research, China now produces a higher volume of AI papers and patents, yet the US still leads in overall research quality, citations, and breakthrough innovations. The American advantage in hardware and compute infrastructure, including access to advanced GPUs, data centers, and semiconductor supply chains, remains a critical differentiator, as China continues to face hardware bottlenecks due to export restrictions. However, China compensates through its vast domestic data resources and deployment scale, applying AI across smart cities, manufacturing, logistics, and surveillance systems with unmatched reach. Regulatory structures also diverge significantly. The US maintains a more innovation-friendly but fragmented regulatory landscape, while China operates under a top-down governance model where state coordination directs AI priorities and ethics. Globally, the US holds a stronger position through international platforms and market influence, whereas China's AI industry remains largely domestically dominant but increasingly ambitious abroad. In essence, the US drives the frontier of innovation, while China excels at mass application and industrial integration, two different but converging pathways in the global AI race. Key trends and what to watch. Closing gap. China is rapidly narrowing the gap in several areas, especially deployment, scale, and research volume. Some studies indicate the US still leads but margin is shrinking. Dual path. The US path is innovation and global platforms, China's is scale and national strategy. That means their strengths complement different parts of the AI value chain. Hardware and compute bottlenecks. Access to high-end chips, compute infrastructure, and specialized hardware will be a key differentiator. The US currently has an edge. Regulation and governance. How each country handles AI safety, ethics, export controls, data governance will impact long-term leadership. Market and deployment advantage. China's domestic scale gives it an edge in deploying AI widely across sectors, which in turn generates more data, experience, and refinement. Global influence and ecosystem. The US has more established global reach, platforms used globally, talent attraction. China is working on expanding its ecosystem, but geopolitical and language regulatory barriers exist. Final thoughts. In summary, the US remains ahead in many cutting-edge areas: foundational models, global platforms, talent quality, compute infrastructure. China is extremely competitive, with major strengths in scale, deployment, and state-driven strategy. It is catching up fast and may challenge the US in more domains. It's not necessarily a binary, winner-takes-all scenario. Both countries have different strengths and risk profiles, and the lead may vary by subdomain, e.g., US may lead in foundational models, China may lead in industrial deployment. For anyone in industry or policy watching AI, the takeaway is, if you're working in AI applications, both countries are major players and the competition will intensify. Which country leads might depend on which slice of the AI value chain you focus on.